Capitals general manager Brian MacLellan certainly seems to be a believer in the old saying, "If it ain't broke, don't fix it." After re-signing Tom Wilson on Friday, the Caps will return their entire offensive and defensive lineup from last season's Stanley Cup championship team except for Jay Beagle. Here's Washington's lineup from Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. Alex Ovechkin, Evgeny Kuznetsov, Tom WilsonJakub Vrana, Nicklas Backstrom, TJ OshieAndre Burakovsky, Lars Eller, Brett Connol, Chandler Stevenson, Jay Beagle, Devante Smith-Pelly, Michael Kempny, John Carlson, Dmitry Orlov, Matt Niskanen, Brooks Orpik, Christian Djouf, Braden Holtby, Philip Grubauer. Now here's a look at a projected lineup for next season. Alex Ovechkin, Evgeny Kuznetsov, Tom WilsonJakub Vrana, Nicklas Backstrom, TJ OshieAndre Burakovsky, Lars Eller, Brett Connol, Chandler Stevenson, Nick Dowd, Travis Boyd, Devante Smith-Pelly, Michael Kempny, John Carlson, Dmitry Orlov, Matt Niskanen, Brooks Orpik, Christian Djouf, Madison Boa, Braden Holtby, Phoenix Copley. With only a few minor changes, the Caps will be essentially returning their entire championship lineup. What are the changes? Center has been one of Washington's biggest strengths, and while they may have kept their top three centers, the fourth line is now a question mark after the departure of Beagle. Just about everyone in Washington was sad to see Beagle go, but the reason why it was necessary became clear almost immediately when he signed a 4-year contract worth $12 million. After re-signing Wilson, the Caps have just over $1 million left of cap space under the ceiling. Washington could not afford to give Beagle anything close to the money he got from Vancouver and risk losing any of their top free agents, especially not with younger, cheaper options available. With no Beagle, it appears his spot will be up for grabs between Boyd and Dowd, both of whom signed one-way contracts, suggesting Washington foresees both players in the NHL next season. On defense, it seems unlikely Orpik will have an everyday role again given his age and limitations. Fans should expect to see a cycle of Orpik, Djouf and Bowie on that third pairing throughout the season. In net, Holtby still rolls the crease, but there is no Grubauer behind him anymore. That role will go to the yet unproven Copley, who has only 2 career NHL games on his resume. Why do we not see more defending champs try this approach? Because it's hard to do with a salary cap. When players have a hand in a championship run, they expect to be compensated for it. When the price tag on just about every player in your lineup goes up, it is hard to keep them all under the cap. Just ask Chicago, where it has become an annual tradition to watch the Blackhawks trade away a promising young player for cap reasons. The Caps had a laundry list of players in need of new deals heading into the offseason, including Carlson, Kempny, Wilson, Smith-Pelly, Bowie and Boyd. Thanks to a significant rise in the salary cap and some shrewd moves by MacLellan, trading Orpik away and then re-signing him after he was bought out by Colorado was a genius gamble. The Caps were able to retain just about every one of those players. What are the potential risks? Just about everyone believed Washington's championship window had closed before last season. That was in part due to frequently underachieving in the playoffs, but it also had a lot to do with age. Ovechkin will be 33 to start the 2018-19 season, Backstrom will turn 31 in November, and both Oshie and Niskanen will turn 32 in December. That's not ancient, but those are 4 of the team's most important players who are on the wrong side of 30. The Caps are not just returning the same team in a vacuum, they are returning the same team that is 1 year older. As good a job as MacLellan did to keep the team intact, some tough choices had to be made. Holtby Grubauer would certainly be in the discussion for one of the best goalie tandems in the NHL. Copley, however, isn't proven. If he is not up to snuff, suddenly the Caps may find themselves in need of a backup goalie and not much money to find one. An underrated aspect of the game is the face-off, and the Caps just got a whole lot worse at it without Beagle. Beagle had the team's best face-off percentage with 58.5% last season. Both Kuznetsov and Eller were sub .500 on the draw and Backstrom was only 51.2%. The third pair on a defense is a question mark as well. Best case scenario is that both Jews and Bowie continue to develop throughout the season and by the spring have established themselves as a pair without any rotation needed. If that's not the case, and the Caps need Orpik in the lineup, does he have enough left in the tank for another playoff run? The team to beat. Even with those questions, you still have to have the Caps among the favorites to win the Cup this season. While some of the team's top players are getting older, Kuznetsov, Wilson, Burakovsky, Vrana and Orlov present an impressive young core. This Caps team is certainly not without its weaknesses, but if your biggest questions are at fourth-line center, the third defensive pair and backup goalie, that's a pretty solid team. More Capitals news.